There are places where the dead are not at rest, where old pacts linger and the soil remembers names long forgotten. Hollow Hill is such a place, a graveyard whose gates no longer open, but whose hunger remains. And within its iron fences, a solitary figure walks beneath the moon. Tonight, we follow the last keeper into Hollow Hill. At the northern edge of Blackmere Valley, where the woods thin and the mist lingers like breath on glass, stands Hollow Hill Cemetery. To most, it is little more than a forgotten patch of land, a place visited only by the crows and by the wind that keens endlessly across the rusted gates. But the journal tells more. Hollow Hill was consecrated nearly 200 years ago, long before Blackmere Valley had even earned its name. In those days, the settlers spoke of the land as being unsettled. The soil was rich, but restless. They said roots grew in strange patterns, that unearthed stones bore markings older than any known language. And at the heart of the hill, a hollow, a natural chamber beneath the earth. When the settlers raised the cemetery, they sought to contain the unease. The burial grounds were not simply for the dead. They were an offering, a way to bind what stirred beneath the hollow with quiet reverence. Graves were laid out in precise geometries, statues were carved to watch the paths, and most importantly, a keeper was appointed. Not merely a caretaker of graves, but a guardian of the pact. The Wrens were chosen, and for generations their bloodline remained tethered to the cemetery, reciting the old rites, speaking the forgotten names, and walking the grounds each dusk with lanterns that never dimmed. Agnes Wren was the last. By the time Agnes took up the mantle, Hollow Hill had grown silent. The village no longer came to bury their dead. Families moved away. The chapel fell into disuse, its bell rusting in the tower. But Agnes remained. She honored the old duties. Each night she walked the grounds, speaking aloud the litany passed down through her family. Stone holds the name. Soil holds the rest. The hollow hears and hungers, but shall not possess. Villagers whispered of her devotion. Some feared it, others pitied her. Few dared approach. Yet for years nothing stirred, the balance held. Until the storm. One autumn evening, black clouds gathered with unnatural speed. The wind howled like voices crying out from the distant woods. Rain battered the earth for hours, softening the hillside until part of the northern slope collapsed into itself, exposing a long-sealed crypt. Stone markers toppled, exposing symbols that pulsed faintly beneath the rain. The next morning, Hollow Hill was changed. The iron gate stood open, though none admitted to unlocking it. The chapel bell, silent for decades, rang 3 times without touch. And Agnes Wren was gone. What the villagers found left them shaken. The keeper's cottage stood as though untouched, the door ajar, the fire still warm. Lanterns burned steadily, casting long shadows across her meticulously kept journals. But Agnes was nowhere inside. Her footsteps led only in circles across the damp cemetery, tracing a spiraling path toward the exposed crypt, and then stopped. The first to enter the grounds that morning, William Elcott described the sensation. It was like being watched from every corner. The headstones leaned toward me as if listening, and beneath my feet I could swear I heard breathing. The villagers dared not search further that day, but by nightfall, rumors spread. Some swore they saw a figure drifting between the tombstones, a woman in black, her face veiled, carrying the old wren lantern. Others reported hearing faint whispers beneath the ground, voices calling out in broken fragments. Not done, not done, still hungry. The cemetery soon became a place of dread. Paths shifted, graves rearranged themselves overnight. Names on the stones twisted into unfamiliar words. Even the statues, once serene angels, now seemed to avert their gaze, as though unwilling to witness what unfolded. Then came Henry Cawthorne. Driven by guilt and a strange compulsion, Henry entered Hollow Hill under cover of darkness, lantern in hand. He claimed the pull toward the chapel was irresistible, as though something beneath the soil whispered his name. Inside the crumbling sanctuary, beneath the rotting bell tower, he found her. It was Agnes, but not. Henry later described. Her body stood perfectly still, yet her shadow moved behind her. She tried to speak, but no sound came, only a dry rasp, as if the air itself refused to carry her words. And then he saw it. From the exposed crypt beyond the chapel, something rose, tall, robed, its form neither fully solid nor truly shadow. Its face was featureless, but eyes, hollow voids, seemed to exist where none should be. The entity reached a pale hand to Agnes's shoulder. At its touch, she dissolved like smoke in sunlight. Only her lantern remained, clattering to the chapel floor. Henry fled, but the vision haunted him until his death 2 years later. The journal offers this warning: Hollow Hill feeds now. The balance is broken. The keeper is not lost, but transformed, neither alive nor dead. She walks the grounds still, tending graves that no longer sleep, under the gaze of what was buried beneath the hollow long before the stones were set. In the years since, the cemetery has remained sealed by rusted chains, but on moonless nights the bell rings faintly in the windless air, and travelers claim to see the pale glow of Agnes's lantern weaving between headstones that seem to lean ever closer together, as though drawing inward toward the hollow mouth of the earth. Some deaths are simple, others linger. But at Hollow Hill, death is only a doorway, one that opens wider with every whispered name. Agnes Wren keeps her vigil still, her covenant twisted into servitude, and beneath her feet, the hollow waits for more. I am Evelyn Blackmore, and this is Whispers from the Hollow. Until next time, tread carefully among the stones and listen for the bell. And as always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe.